Everyone laughed at the man in diapers, until the salesman discovered the shocking truth. In the bustling city of Newark, New Jersey, a supermarket was the epicenter of everyday life. On a particularly ordinary Friday evening, the doors of this establishment swung open, and in walked a man named Chris, dressed in nothing but a geriatric diaper. His entrance was met with a symphony of gasps, giggles, and whispers that rippled through the aisles. Chris strode past the fresh produce, his eyes fixed ahead, seemingly oblivious to the reactions around him. He moved with purpose, undeterred by the spectacle he was creating. The supermarket's shoppers, entertained by the absurdity of the situation, began to snap photos and share videos on social media, turning Chris into an instant sensation. Behind one of the registers, Jimmy, a keen-eyed cashier, watched the scene unfold. Unlike the other employees and customers, Jimmy couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Chris's bizarre behavior. His curiosity piqued, he decided to leave his post and follow Chris, weaving through the crowd of onlookers. As Chris made his way to the back of the store, Jimmy stayed a few steps behind, careful not to lose sight of him. The laughter and jokes from the shoppers faded into the background as they ventured deeper into the supermarket's labyrinthine storage area. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed softly, casting an eerie glow on the stacks of cardboard boxes and metal shelves. Jimmy's heart pounded in his chest as he trailed Chris, who seemed to navigate the storeroom with a sense of familiarity. Eventually, Chris stopped in front of a door marked "Employees Only." He glanced over his shoulder, his eyes meeting Jimmy's for a brief moment before he pushed the door open and disappeared inside. Hesitating for only a second, Jimmy followed him into the dimly lit room. The air was cooler here, and the hum of industrial freezers filled the silence. Chris stood in the center of the room, facing a large metal door with a keypad lock. He turned to Jimmy, his expression unreadable. "You're the only one who followed me," Chris said, his voice calm and measured. "I need your help." Jimmy, still processing the surreal situation, nodded slowly. "What is this about, Chris? Why are you wearing that diaper?" Chris let out a sigh, a mixture of frustration and resignation. "It's a long story, but right now I need to get into this freezer. There's something inside that could change everything." Without waiting for Jimmy's response, Chris began to punch a series of numbers into the keypad. The lock beeped, and the heavy door swung open with a creak. Cold air rushed out, misting in the warmer room. Chris stepped inside, and Jimmy, driven by an unshakable sense of duty and curiosity, followed. Inside the freezer, rows of shelves were stocked with frozen goods, but Chris headed straight to the back where a large crate sat on the floor. He knelt beside it and pried off the lid, revealing a collection of documents and photographs, all meticulously organized. Jimmy's eyes widened as he took in the contents. "What is all this?" he asked, his breath visible in the cold air. Chris handed him a folder. "Proof," he said simply. "Proof of corruption, of illegal activities within this very supermarket. I tried to expose them before, but no one believed me. I had to resort to drastic measures to get someone to notice." Jimmy flipped through the documents, each page more damning than the last. There were records of fraudulent transactions, secret shipments, and even evidence of human trafficking. He felt a chill that had nothing to do with the temperature in the freezer. "We need to take this to the authorities," Jimmy said, his voice trembling. "This can't stay hidden any longer." Chris nodded, his eyes filled with determination. "Thank you, Jimmy. I knew you'd understand. Together, we can bring them down." As they left the freezer, the gravity of their discovery settled over them. What had started as a peculiar and humorous spectacle had turned into a life-altering mission. Jimmy and Chris, bound by a shared sense of justice, knew they were stepping into a battle that would change their lives forever.